I'm John Glover. I'm a professor in the Department of History.
My name is Lillian Larson. I am Crawford Professor of Religious Studies.
I'm Dan Closter. I'm an academic geographer and a professor of environmental studies here at the University of Redlands.
I teach a course here called Mapping Metal, a Historical Geography. And the course is basically a combination of history and GIS, where we use GIS to map the historical development of a global music genre that's been around for over 50 years.
I am one of the earliest adopters of spatial tools in the humanities classroom. And the reason is quite straightforward. Religion is inherently spatial. We don't often think of it that way, but in fact, almost every class that I teach at this point incorporates some aspect of a spatial component.
I'm a social geographer, but I've been using GIS as a way of getting students to think spatially about rainforest conservation in Panama.
The kind of thing that excites me about using GIS and mapping in this history course versus my non-GIS history courses is that students in the other courses, they always ask, what do I need to know? Like, what do I need to know to write a good paper or pass a test? And one thing I've noticed from the very start is that in a GIS and a mapping course, students quite often ask, how do I know this? Good maps not only answer questions, but they raise new questions too.
So the question of why maps in a field as deeply humanistic as religious studies. Geography has a long history in religious studies of kind of creating static landscapes. Using maps to teach religion is that by deconstructing the map, we also kind of destabilize the sense that religion is simply one static answer.
GIS becomes the tool in which I get students to think about really interesting things and how those things are related to each other. I get them to think about different types of forest and then interpret our own original drone imagery or satellite image and try to come to an understanding that this forest is in recovery from a period of having been cut down for pasture. And I ask them to think about the social context of that process while they are making those maps.
Just the maps in general and the story maps in particular become a way to explore a multimedia, multifaceted space for students to juxtapose geography with imagery, with close reading of texts, and to have a nimble set of tools to address the different aspects of that content.
You can study the impact that geography has upon music and do it in a historical fashion. So that's something I really impress upon my students too, that when they map metal bands in Japan, that they consider the historical background and the cultural background that makes Japanese metal so unique and such a vibrant part of the world.
The geographical lens becomes a way to look at what are often quite familiar texts and quite familiar landscapes within religious studies through literally a different lens, and as a result see things that students might not have noticed before. And it very much puts students in the driver's seat, and that's what makes it a really rich conversation in the classroom.